They say your life flashes before your eyes when you're about to die. They're wrong. When the truck ran the red light and spun my car like a tin can, there was no highlight reel. There was just a single deafening moment of silence. There was just a single deafening moment of silence, a perfect black void where the world had been. And in that black, I heard a voice. It wasn't a sound, but a thought. A thought so clear and precise it felt like it was being drawn directly onto my consciousness. This structure is flawed. It requires correction. The next thing I knew, I was alive. Not okay, but alive. The car was crumpled around me, metal screaming, glass dust sparkling in the air. A man was pulling me from the wreckage. He was tall, impossibly so, with an old tweed coat that seemed to absorb the light. His face was a patchwork of shadows, and when I looked into his eyes, they weren't human. They were like deep, dark wells, reflecting everything but showing nothing.
You have a flaw, a structural weakness in your design. I've corrected it.
He placed a hand on my head, and a jolt of ice shot through my skull. But it was not a painful cold. It was like a chill wind, erasing all the fear and pain. The paramedics arrived then, sirens wailing. When I looked back, the man was gone. There was no one there but me and the blinking red and white lights. There was no one there but me and the blinking red and white lights. The doctors said it was a miracle I survived. They said the impact should have killed me instantly, but they couldn't explain how I had no internal injuries, no broken bones. They just called me a lucky man. I never mentioned the man in the tweed coat. Who would believe me? For a year, I tried to forget him. I went back to my normal life, but things weren't the same. I could feel things now, flaws in the world. I would walk by a bridge and feel a sudden, crushing dread, the weight of 1,000 tiny fractures in the concrete. I would see a bird in flight and know with absolute certainty the precise moment its wings would fail. I was terrified of what I was seeing, terrified of the man who had fixed me. Then one night, I saw him again. He was standing on the corner of my street in the same dark coat, watching my apartment. He didn't look up at me, but I knew he knew I was there. I pulled the blinds shut, a cold sweat breaking out on my forehead. I thought I was losing my mind, but a new understanding dawned on me. He wasn't just a man. He was an architect of a different kind. He didn't build buildings, he repaired people. He fixed the flaws in those who were about to die. And he was checking his work. The next day, a news report came on about a building collapse downtown. I'd walked past it 100 times, but this time, a new image appeared in my mind. A close-up of a structural beam with a hairline crack that I knew, with a certainty that chilled me to the core, was the cause of the disaster. I started to see him everywhere, a fleeting reflection in a shop window, a tall shadow at the edge of a crowd. He was always there, an observer, checking his work, ensuring his repairs were holding. A terrifying understanding that I was a flawed object, a design that he had to personally fix. The fear got worse. I began to hear his voice again, not a whisper, but a continuous stream of thoughts. A low hum in the back of my mind. Flaw detected. Misalignment of a central support beam. Inefficiency in the respiratory function. Minor adjustments needed. He was speaking about everything around me. About the people walking past me, about the cars on the street, about the very air I was breathing. He wasn't just observing me. He was observing everything through my eyes. I was no longer a person. I was a tool, a new kind of camera he could use to find all the broken things in the world. Last night, I woke up screaming. I dreamed of a fire in my neighbor's house, and the dream felt more real than my waking life. I saw a man, my neighbor, running from the flames. The man in the tweed coat was standing there, watching him. The man in the tweed coat was standing there, watching him.
This one is beyond repair. The foundational structure is too weak.
When I looked into the man's eyes, they were no longer dark wells. I saw something new. I saw the reflections of 1,000 different faces, all of them looking back at me with the same cold, empty gaze. They were the people he had fixed, people who were now his tools, his eyes, his consciousness. I looked at my own reflection in the window. My eyes were no longer my own. They were deep, dark wells, reflecting everything but showing nothing. And when I woke up this morning, a new voice was in my head. The structure is flawed, it requires correction.